Mindacha Kaushalyana Zagavinarasho. Okay. विविध व्यक्तिमत्वांचा जीवनाचा प्रवास श्रवणीय अनुभवांची असे माहिती खास सगळ्यांना हा टॉक शो असे सजग बनवणारा विजन विस्डमच्या अगदी जवळ नेणारा माइंडाच्या कौशल्यांना जागविणारा शो माइंडफुल हा टॉक शो माइंडफुल हा टॉक शो माइंडफुल हा टॉक शो.
Hello, my dear friends. How are you all? Are you mindful and having balance with your heart and mind? Amazing. I am Dr. Aarti Suryavamshi talking to you on our channel, The Mindful Heart. Our theme is passion, profession, and purpose. And we are having another mindful personality, and who is none other than Keki Dadiseth.
Thank you very much for coming
Yes.
here today, Dr. Suryavanshi. I'm delighted to do this
Yes.
broadcast. I've had many evidences in life that shows that it's not what you are, but it's what you become
Yeah.
through your various experiences in life.
Wow.
I come from a fairly humble background. My father was a businessman, and
You were from Pune,
I
sir?
was from Pune.
Okay.
I was in Bishop School in Pune, and then from there I came to Bombay and joined the Sydenham College.
Right?
After being in Sydenham College and getting a degree from there, I went on to London and joined a firm of chartered accountants there, where I did my articles and became a chartered accountant.
Okay.
I became a fellow of the institute, which was initially I was an associate, but I became a fellow about 7 or 8 years later. So, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants is quite was a big thing to get,
Actually.
and it is difficult to get through those exams there, but we managed. And the interesting thing was that I had made a group of friends in Sydenham College. And fortunately for me, most of them were in London at the same time,
Oh, really?
following the same course. So I had a very, very happy time.
Right. So, you were in which university in London, sir?
Institute of Chartered Accountants of
Okay.
England and Wales.
Wow. Okay.
That works like I have to work for a firm of auditors, accountants, and then there are 3 exams.
Oh.
There's final part 1, final part 2, and before that the intermediate exam.
Right.
And I managed to pass all of them,
Wow.
and then you get called as a chartered
Yes.
accountant.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise you can't use the term chartered accountant.
Chartered accountant.
Anyway, I was born in 1945, and
That is before independence.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
I was born in December 1945, which, as you said, was prior to independence.
Right.
And despite my parents being middle class,
Right.
they strived very hard to give me everything that they could afford
Right.
for me. And I'll always be very grateful to them for giving me this head start in life. Both my parents are no longer with me. They are passed away. I have a sister who lives in London
Okay.
and who I think of a lot. It's the nearest contact I have to my family genes.
Right.
But she's a wonderful person. She's also had a very hard life. Anyway, when I started out at the Sydenham College in Bombay,
Right.
it was a very happy time in my career.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a very happy time because
So you were coming from Pune to Mumbai and
we had moved specially to Mumbai
oh,
for,
especially for the education.
for education. I moved to Mumbai, right? And I made some very good friends. All of us qualified as chartered accountants at the same time in London.
Oh, wow.
And they're all spread over the world.
Amazing. So
That-
you have worldwide friends.
Friends, yeah.
Wow. What a synergy.
Yeah, really, it was wonderful synergy. And it was a wonderful time for me also.
Yeah.
My sister was very, very kind to me. She was elder to me by about 7 or 8 years.
Oh,
So she's coming close to her 90s now.
okay.
But she did everything she possibly could to augment and make my stay in London as nice as possible. She used to work as an air stewardess with British Airways.
Okay.
So whenever she'd come to London, we would have lunch or dinner or something together.
Right.
And she'd give me £200, £100. And that was
Every
a lot,
time, the pocket money.
lot of money, because my
A lot
salary.
of money, yeah.
Because
That times like it
times
was,
we are talking about 30, 40 years ago.
yeah, yeah.
Whatever salary I was earning from the company, it was a stipend. And the rest of that, what my sister gave me,
Right.
added up to make it a sum on which you could live
Correct.
modestly.
Wow. Amazing.
So that's my early education.
Wow.
In school,
Sir, yeah, I just wanted to ask you about that. That you had your schooling at Bishops in Pune,
Yeah.
and you were also living in Pune like up to like from your childhood to up to 12th.
yes,
Wow. And all education you had in Bishops only.
all in Bishops.
All 12 years.
All 12 years. And
Okay.
interesting fact is, they were very good to me because when I was about 4 years old, I got polio,
Oh my God.
right? Although I'm on a wheelchair just now, this is not
Right.
because of the polio, it's
Right.
because it'll get better with a little bit of exercise.
Correct.
But I was in calipers in school and I had to walk with care to ensure that I didn't have too many falls, etc. But the school taught me to do everything and made me completely multidimensional
Wow.
in the sense that I would take part in all the sports activities, etc. So they told me that we don't want you to be different. You are not different.
Ha.
Your mind is like any of our minds.
That's so important.
Yes, it's very, very important. And they taught me to take everything in my stride.
Wow.
And I
So
had
besides your having polio, they made you do all the activities
everything.
with all the regular
It was
students.
a wonderful school. They made you participate in everything. And I think I'm very lucky to have got that grounding. Which school in India today has a big campus ground?
Actually,
Bishops had a beautiful campus
beautiful
ground.
campus. Yes.
School would begin at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I would then go off to do the normal school activities.
Okay.
In the evening at 3:30, we'd close, and everyone then went for games parade.
Okay.
So you had a bun and a cup of tea,
Right.
and were taken to the race course.
Oh, wow.
My school was close to the race course.
Race course.
And we had, so in different seasons, there were different sports played. The sport which I took to very much and won several medals and shields in was table tennis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
So I was hugely encouraged by the school to excel in sports.
Right.
And the motto of my school was, be thorough. Whatever you do, be thorough.
Okay. Wow.
Simple, straightforward motto of the
So
school.
meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I came to Bombay and did my 4 years in Sydenham College. They were exceptionally good years.
Right.
Those were the very good years because that's where I met my wife also. She
Oh,
was in
is
Xavier's
it?
College.
Okay.
And we, for want of a better term, clicked and clicked.
Okay.
Yeah, we both decided that we would get married.
Oh,
And
wow.
but I was earning very little. So
Right.
she had got a job with Air India
Oh,
as the secretary to the chairman of Air India
wow.
in London, the European chairman.
Okay. Yeah.
One other important aspect of my life, which I
Huh.
had alluded to earlier, saying that I had polio for several years,
Right.
is I had to have 5 operations. Before I left school, I had 5 operations. And for 3 years, I didn't go to school.
Oh,
The teachers used to come and teach me at home.
okay.
So it was for me and the school a bit of a challenge,
Actually,
right? Because I had to learn everything. But the
correct.
school was so wonderful that they did everything possible to make my 3 or 4 years, which I did not go to school, as much fun and knowledgeable as they could make it.
Wow.
Anyway,
So this was like around like your 8th, 9th standard or
though this was in the 3rd and 4th standard.
oh,
Third,
you were
fourth, and
really
fifth.
very small that time.
Yeah, 3rd, 4th, and 5th standard.
Right.
And I had to have 5 operations,
My
right?
God.
Because I was unable to walk.
Oh, right.
And I couldn't put my feet flat on the ground. They would be uplifted like that.
Right.
And there was nothing that could be done.
Correct.
And then there was a doctor, a local doctor called Dr. Katrak, who said, there is one way in which we try and loosen or transplant a nerve from
Okay.
another part of your leg to the part which will make you walk.
Transplant a nerve.
That was unheard of then, but he succeeded.
Oh, wow.
And that made me walk. Today, the transplant operation is fairly common,
Right.
right? But at that time, it was very difficult. And he made me walk. And I can still remember him telling me, you're going to be perfectly okay.
So he was like the God for you.
He was like my God.
Yeah.
He did wonderful things for me.
Actually.
Yeah, and
So that feeling of walking on the feet, on the ground,
Yeah,
I mean, it
yeah,
was
yeah.
wonderful.
today I'm sitting in a wheelchair because I got muscle weakness,
Correct.
which I'm having exercises for. And in another month or 2, I'll be back to walking.
Oh, wonderful.
So this is not a full-time
Permanent thing.
disability.
Correct. That's great. That's really great.
So,
That's okay. Yeah.
And when I went to college, I was like any normal student with a slight limp, and that's about it. College was coming to life. You know, when you start going out and you meet women and girls and this and that.
College life is very glorious and glamorous.
At least we think so when we are out of college, right? But it was a very important time for me because my background in the studies was weak because I hadn't attended full classes.
Yeah.
In spite of that, I passed out with the first class from school
क्या बात है?
and came to Bombay and the Sydenham College.
College.
And I hadn't got a first class in the school leaving exams. But the principal of Sydenham College, Dr. Keki Merchant, said, if this boy has overcome so much, we must help. And so right at the end, they gave me a special seat.
Wow.
And I did very well in the college.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I came and
What more you wanted, right?
Right,
So that was itself a motivation for you.
Yeah, it was a real motivation. After that was over and I made many friends there, I went off to London and joined the firm where I was studying. And the people in London were also excellent. They were outstanding to me.
Right.
And I'm still in touch with the old partner who started the firm's son, who's now an old man himself.
Oh, wow. The
Must-
next generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm still in touch with him occasionally
Oh,
for festivals and whatever else it is. I then, after qualifying as a chartered accountant, and there was many wonderful things when in that process.
so sorry, I missed one thing in between. So you were telling me that you met your wife in Sydenham College.
She was in Xavier's College.
Okay, she was in Xavier's College. So how did you meet?
We met, I had gone on a holiday to Mahabaleshwar
Okay,
with some friends.
right.
And while rowing, her boat and my boat crashed.
Oh,
And she was very angry with me for being rash in rowing my boat. And in the night, we met at a common friend's house party.
right.
And from then we became good friends.
Oh, wow. So boating made you bring together.
Yeah. So I went off to London. I then went off to London.
Right.
We met in the third year of college. So after the fourth year, where I got an honors degree,
Right.
I went off to London and we decided that why wait the full term?
So with all other friends, she had also gone to London with you.
No, I came back, got married, and then we went back to London.
Oh, okay.
So after 2 years of studying, both of us in different places,
Right.
we decided that we would go to London.
Huh.
And we both decided that it would be very unfair to expect our parents to pay for our complete stay there, etc.
Right.
Because we were both from middle class families.
Correct.
Her father was the chief medical officer of the Bombay dyeing group of companies.
Correct.
My father was a businessman, a small businessman.
Right. So what was the business of your father?
My father was in the business of making food products.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So jelly, crystals,
Right.
custard powder, etc.,
Yes,
etc.
yes.
And that was what his job was.
Huh.
Went to London
Huh.
and we had to live on very limited resources. Well, the 500 or 600 pounds I was earning per year,
Okay.
and my wife was earning about 1,200 per year.
Wow.
So she kept me in education while
Acha.
she also worked.
Oh.
She worked in Air India.
Uh-huh.
That gave us two advantages. One was she was working in a firm which had Indian connections.
Huh.
And secondly, you got leave every year and free tickets
Oh,
to come back
yes.
to India and go back again. So that was our story.
Okay.
We went to India only once or twice during that period.
Huh.
And I came back and
Then you got married.
after we got married, when I went to London,
Huh.
I was 18 months, 2 years in London.
Correct.
By the time we went back as a married
Correct.
couple. And
Wow, what a decision. Very, very
it was a tough decision.
brave and tough at the same time.
Yeah, but you always think it is not tough
Huh.
when you're thinking about it.
Right.
But in retrospect, it was really, I would say, a foolish decision. But it went off very well.
Huh.
And
Wow.
she made me work very hard.
She made you work very hard. Okay.
Yeah, because my parents said, "You'll ruin your career. Why don't you wait 2 years more?" I said, "No, we'll do it." And fortunately, everything went to plan. We went and
Wow.
came back. I then
Amazing.
came back and joined Bombay Dyeing.
Bombay dyeing. So you found this decision is very important and successfully planned, right?
Yes. But we also, what drove us to come back was that my wife, Alu was her name.
Huh.
She's no longer alive. She just died a few months ago.
Yes, sir. I have an idea about it.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that again.
But she was the spirit of my life. She was the rock of Gibraltar of my life.
Wow.
She gave me everything that was wonderful and which I had both felt was lacking. She was there with me. She would make me sit down in the evenings and nights and study hard. Because before every exam, you got 2 months study leave. And she made me do that.
Wow.
And when we passed, I can still remember.
Your source of inspiration.
She was. She was a wonderful, wonderful person.
Wonderful person.
And there's such small incidents, but I still remember that they tell you when the results will come, which date, and you will get a communication from the institute. Now, the communication is such that we all came to the conclusion that if you got a thin envelope with no feeling in it except a piece of paper, it meant you had failed.
Oh my God.
So on newspaper, the postman,
Really difficult this is.
and thick envelope meant you had passed and they'd given you an application form
Oh, for the next admission.
to be admitted as a member of the institute. So in the block of flats we were staying in, there was another chap also. He had taken the exam for the 4th time.
Wow.
He had it. And so both of us were waiting anxiously. And then my wife told me at about 7:45, postman was coming. So I just went down, said, "You have my thing."
Okay.
Asked him, he said, "Is it a thick envelope or thin envelope?" He said, I can't tell. So anyway, I took it. And it said, "You have satisfied the examiners, and therefore you will be admitted as a member. Please fill in the form," etc. And I was absolutely overjoyed.
Of course.
But at the same time, we were very unhappy because my father-in-law and mother-in-law were both diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
So instead of staying on in London, where the firm told me, if you stay on, you will become a partner. They said, you will have, even if you want to come back, 6 months after you come back, you'll become a partner.
No.
But I said, partners you'll become and partners will go on. But if you lose your parents without spending time with them, that would be very difficult. So we came back, and in the year we came back, that year at Christmas time, 26th or 27th of December, my father-in-law passed away. And then my mother-in-law lived on for another 7 or 8 years and passed away.
Oh.
So it was a wise decision.
Right.
At that time, my father-in-law was, as I told you earlier, the chief medical officer of the Bombay Dying Group. So he made me speak to Mr. Wadia, who is today Nasli Wadia, who runs the group. So he said, "Yeah, fine, you can join us." And I joined, but I didn't like it very much, although they were very kind. I didn't like it very much. It was not the sort of professionalism that I wanted at the start of my career. You can always make money later, but if you start out only for money and get no proper experience, it's not a very good thing. So I left them and joined Hindustan Lever.
Oh, it's a brave decision that time.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I was earning about 3,000 rupees a month in Hindustan, in Bombay Dyeing, and 1,200 rupees plus bonus and other things in Hindustan Lever.
Okay.
So I had taken a tremendous cut But within 3 months, I realized
Huh.
that it was the right decision.
Right decision.
Because they were so professional. Not that Bombay Dyeing wasn't, but they were a different sort of company. And I
Right.
joined it. And after that, I never changed companies.
Wow.
I was with them, so it was the right decision.
So you were coming all the way from London. You had already experience in London
Yeah.
with the complete professionalism, complete corporate lifestyle.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And when coming back to India, then you were definitely discovering something similar.
Yeah, in Hindustan Lever.
And that you found in Hindustan Lever.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
So that was a multinational company, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Wonderful company. And my wife could see I was very unhappy in
Bombay Dyeing.
no, not yes, in Bombay Dyeing.
Huh.
And so she would look out at notices in the papers and the rest of it, appointments available. And then she told me, why don't you apply to this thing?
Okay.
So I applied. After 4 months, I got a response. Can you come on a Saturday at so-and-so time? So I said, I would definitely go. I was delighted. But after that evening interview with the financial chief of Hindustan Lever, he said, okay, you're definitely in our final group.
Okay.
And we will let you know when the final interviews are. And the final interviews were communicated to me by a very sweet man who I really admired, called Mr. Pavshe.
Okay. Wow.
And he called me and he told me, you better come for the interview on so and so date. And the interview was a very unique interview, which I liked very much.
Wow, you remember the interview?
Yeah, I remember exactly the format of the interviews.
Okay.
You would go in there and they would tell you that till lunchtime, everyone that is selected will stay on and be further interviewed. If you feel you won't make it, we won't say it in front of everyone, but you won't be called for lunch.
Wow.
So fortunately, we started out by having a discussion, a financial discussion. And after the discussion, they would ask you to write a précis of what the discussion was in 40 minutes. After doing that, they would ask individual questions to everybody. Anyway, they told me you're there for lunch. And you have to have lunch with 3 or 4 directors. So then we met each of the people at lunchtime met. They were seen totally as a group. And then after lunch, some people were told to stay on and some were told that they could leave. There were 3 people who were asked to stay on.
Wow.
One was the son of the previous chairman. One was me and one was another person.
Okay.
A Marwari, very clever boy.
Acha.
Yeah. And I fortunately stayed on. I satisfied them. And they told me in the evening that you can join any date that is convenient to you.
Oh, wow. That's such a wonderful news to you.
Yeah, but subject to your meeting the chairman. So I sat for a while and I met the chairman, who was very, very tough, and said, well, you've got nothing, you've got no experience. How did they select you? I said, I don't know how they selected me. You better check with them how they selected me. Anyway, I stayed with Hindustan Lever, joined them, and it was a wonderful reawakening for me. Wonderful place. They were lovely. The people were very fair and honest. And that's where I learned that whoever son or daughter you are judged by your performance. Nothing extra.
Correct.
What you do is how they judge you. And that's what they did for me. They gave me a thorough grilling. And in the first 5 years, I joined as an audit senior. The second year, I became the audit group manager.
Okay.
Then I went to what was then Hindustan Lever's largest factory in India at Sibri,
Yes.
where I was factory accountant. And during that period, it was one of the toughest times for Hindustan Lever because we were fighting the trade union leader,
Right.
Datta Samant.
Okay.
Right?
Heard his name. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
and any case, the factory was locked down. First, we gave a strike
Okay.
notice, and then in the night, several people and the police, etc., were called and said we are closing the factory. So we gave all the government permissions, etc., worked the whole night, a few of us, and we told the night shift people that they could go home early at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock. So they also wanted nothing. As soon as the factory was cleared of all union workers, we put up a notice. And the next morning, in the Times of India headlines, Hindustan Lever closes its biggest factory.
Right.
But people believe, how will they make two ends meet? But the fact is that we were totally non-competitive having a factory in the heart of central Bombay. So every month the factory was closed and we had planned to transfer our production out to another plant.
Okay.
Right? We made more money than we would have made otherwise.
Oh, wow.
So there was no pressure
What
on
an idea. Wonderful.
There was no pressure on us
Huh.
to end the strike.
Correct.
Right? After about 10 months, workers were absolutely short of funds. So they came and they had discussions with the whole factory senior team, and we made them sign what is called 10 conditional good service bond,
Okay.
where if they did the following things, they could be sacked without notice.
Oh, okay.
And Sharad Pawar was that time with us, and he said, you put that down and I will support you if they create any mischief. Anyway, the factory had horrible union leaders, and after I left, within 6 months, the factory was shut down.
Oh.
And it's still
Unilever, you left that time.
I had gone to another location.
Okay.
I was back in the head office.